Hello, guys. Hold on. Hi. Welcome to my channel, my podcast, Heartful the Podcast, where I, Shayla, your host, talk about what's brought to me, different topics that I may see on the internet or experience in real life that I feel need a little extra voice or to be expounded upon, or my curiosities around it. Coming from the perspective of a Black woman, a Christian who do not share, a Christian and someone who goes against the grain often, honestly. And then also, I'm a therapist intern, so it's all of that wrapped in one. And my hair is not doing what I wanted to do. As you can hear, I'm recovering from a cold, so there's that too. And I mean, it was a doozy. Triggered my asthma and everything. This time, I should have went to the ER. I did not go. I was, I felt my lungs like constricting. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm alive and well, thank the Lord. There are different things that are on my mind today. First, Happy New Year. Hi guys, Happy New Year. I was about to say Happy Thanksgiving. Happy New Year. I hope you guys are adjusting to this new year and it's starting off well for you all. Things are going along, or what am I saying? I hope that things are aligning for you for this year in the way that it's supposed to. And then happy Black History Month, and I hope y'all had a great Valentine's Day. All the things. This year, I believe this year for me is the year of unearthing, because a lot of things are being revealed. And with revelation comes healing, which I'm thankful for. A lot of things are just personally, you know what I'm saying? So within myself, a lot of things are being revealed, so I can heal. And I appreciate that. It can be very challenging and hard, especially since I have been living in survival. My brain has been functioning in survival mode since I was a little girl, 6, 5. So it's hard to come out of that, but I am aware that it needs to happen. What's very interesting is I had a very in the moment like realization with my best friend the other day, and we were on the phone. And one of my protective rubrics is to not give detail of whatever I'm talking about, to not give detail, because without detail, you can't judge me. And so, because with my vulnerability came judgment, shame, all of the things from people that should have given like emotional safety and not neglect. It shouldn't have been emotional or even spiritual abuse with my vulnerability, but there was. So I learned to not give detail. I can very well tell a story without giving detail. Okay, it's very natural for me to do, and I do it so naturally and automatic that I was very unconscious of it, until I did it, until therapy, really. And my recent session, she was like, "This is a part of your rubric." She was like, "This is a part of your rubric." And I'm curious to, like, how is that beneficial for you? That's not what she said, but that's pretty much what she said. How is it beneficial for you? And I was like, oh, this wasn't so easy for me because she asked me this question some months ago and I didn't know how to explain it or even why. But in this session, because there was a bunch of stuff that happened prior to, I said, oh, well, without giving detail, I said, no, with detail comes judgment. With detail comes shame. With detail, there's harm. And I said, so surface information, I can't be hurt by surface information with the information that I give you. Because I would be in session in conversation and I won't go into detail, but you will get a picture of what I'm talking about. But it won't be in detail. And not too many people notice that, honestly. My therapist did. I think my best friend noticed, but also I feel like in detail, people don't listen with when I try to explain in detail. So I just be like, okay, you're not listening. You don't care about what I'm talking about. So I'm just not going to go into detail. So you'll get this quick surface description explanation and we'll move on. But I feel that way actually often in different conversations. People are coming to mind right now, actually, while I'm talking about this. But yeah, so I had that moment in session, and then I was on the phone with my best friend, one of my best friends, and I started cracking up, and she was like, "What's funny?" I said I'm catching myself in the moment doing the very thing that my therapist caught me on or brought to light for me even more. I was like, I'm literally doing it right now, like in real life, live in action. I'm doing it right now. And it was just hilarious to see and catch myself doing it. But yeah, but it's so automatic, especially while I'm in conversation with people, you know. And oftentimes it's because I don't want to feel, because I don't want to be shamed or judged by the details, or made to feel embarrassed by the details. But a lot of the times, the shame, the judgment, and the embarrassment isn't even mine to carry. But because I have been conditioned to reflect other people, their opinions and their perspectives and all of that, it made me believe that it was my own, like it was my own to carry. And it's not my own to carry, especially when it comes to toxic and abusive behaviors of other people. That's not my It's not mine to carry, and I'm doing my best to unlearn that and to drop that load because it's not my load. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe, like, when it comes to the rape, I don't believe. I don't believe. I always My brain starts to buffer whenever I bring this up, so bear with me. I apologize. But I don't believe it was my fault. Like, logically, right? In my brain, I understand that when someone says no, no is no, right? When, even if it's like, okay, yeah, and then it's no, no is no. Being coerced is still no. You know what I'm saying? So I understand these things. I get it, and I will advocate and believe for any person when they say no, no is no, and that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? For me personally, because I was brought up to reflect the emotions, feelings, perspectives of other people, specifically family, caregivers, adults. When I was younger, that is what I hold. I hold on to their perspectives and opinions and all of those things. That's what I used to hold on to. Let me say it that way. So that's what is that's the voice that I hear when I think of my own things, right? So so I would logically know. Sorry guys, I would logically know and understand like it's not me. That's not my thing to carry to hold. But within me, I would still battle with the embarrassment of what happened. To me, it would be embarrassing to talk about. And I said this in my session. And then there was something else that was unearthed that I brought up to my therapist. And with that, I was like, the emotion I had because I told one of my core people about what happened to me. Not this rape, but a different situation that was where I was taken advantage of by an adult. And I was like, I feel embarrassed to talk about this, to explain it, to say it out loud, which was my indication that I needed to talk about it. I needed to say it out loud. She was like, this isn't your embarrassment to hold. This doesn't belong to you. This belongs to that individual. And then in my session, I was like, she was like, what allowed you to let go of the embarrassment? And I told her that part. And she was like, so if your friend wouldn't have said that, you would have still carried it. And I said, yeah, actually, yes, I would have. And that embarrassment is also similar to the embarrassment of the rape, the situation around it, right? Because I, ooh, it's the vulnerability of the details, guys, the vulnerability of the details. Even though I've said this part already before, but it's just continuing to say it out loud is wrecking me. But because I invited him over, I felt like then it's my fault. Like, so the embarrassment of me bringing him over, or inviting him over. And then in the other incident with the adult, I felt embarrassed because I allowed the situation to happen, even though I was very much so. He was in authority. It was a power dynamic there that the person that I was could not fight against, or stand up against. And she was like, I don't remember how she said it, but she was like, just because you allowed them to come over, or you said yes to this part of the situation, does not mean you deserved the outcome of the situation. And I was like, you're right about it. And I'm doing my best to rest in that and own that and let that be true for me. And realizing and recognizing, because even in that session, I was like, here comes my child, you guys. But even in that session, I was like, oh, this voice isn't mine. This voice doesn't belong to me. I was like, this isn't my voice. And she was like, okay, so let's hold on. Let's stop right there. Because whose voice is it? And I named the individuals, or I named where it would be coming from or whatever, because I know it's not. Like, I'm very much so aware, like, this isn't my voice. It doesn't belong to me. You know what I'm saying? But that's the reflected sense of self, which is hard for me to, that is challenging in itself for me to recognize or be aware of, because I want to have, and I aim to have, a solid sense of self. You know what I'm saying? And the more I recognize that I'm actually functioning from a reflective sense of self, it's like, dang, because that's just not what I want. You know what I'm saying? It's not what I want. And in this moment, I recognize all of the fidgeting that I'm doing within my body, which tells me, it gives me an ick. It gives me an ick because it's just not what I want, and I hate that for me. I hate that for me. But also recognizing, if it's a reflected sense of self, that means I wasn't born that way. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't born that way. And circumstances and situations, environments, and people conditioned me to only reflect what they wanted to see and not who I actually was in the moment. In those moments, I had to reflect back what they wanted to see and what they wanted to hear, not the truth of me. And because of that, I have to build up the truth of me. All that really honestly to say, there's this video. It's actually an old video, but it was just reposted. And I saw it. I saw it this morning actually, and it's of these girls doing, I guess, the Tupac dance, whatever that is, the Tupac dance in the church bathroom. And somebody, I know, reposted it, an older lady that I grew up around, nice and sweet. She's always kind to me. But she reposted it and she was like, teach, because the caption was like something about we need church mothers back in the church or whatever, and needs to keep a standard, something, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, teach, respect the house. This is really my issue with the black church, the black churches that I grew up with. Baby, because the, it just, it, let me settle myself because I'm getting annoyed. It would be one thing if the girls that were doing the dance, mind you, in the bathroom. Now, I don't know all the details around the situation. I don't know if it was during service, after service. It sounded like, because of there was a lot of commotion in the back, that it could have been after service. It could have been during service. I don't know. But I don't know if it was during, afterwards, you know what I'm saying? I don't know the details to that. But what bothered me is the church mother was like, is that a church dance? And it was like, huh? Not disrespectfully, huh? But they were like, huh? She was like, is that a church dance? And they were like, still puzzled, because what are you talking about? And she was like, if it's not a church dance, it don't need to be happening in church. And they were like, and then she was saying some other stuff. still along the lines of being vague, but trying to be direct, but also shaming. And she was like, well, if you don't know what that is, then I'm not going to explain it. That right there tells me you are not in the business of teaching. You're trying to correct and shame them into doing something that you think is appropriate. You don't even know what they're doing. You just see them dancing. And it would be different for me if they were doing, if the dance was like twerking or something like that. To me, that would be disrespectful. And the dancing wasn't even explicit or exaggerated. They were barely moving to me. They were in one spot, barely moving, doing whatever the dance moves were, okay? Barely any butt movement in this. And if 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 this was really about teaching, the comment that said, if you don't understand it, I'm not going to explain. So how are you helping if you're not going to explain it? I'm being distracted by so many things. I can't finish my thoughts. How are you teaching? How are you helping if you're not going to actually explain what your issue is? And then also, you're trying to correct something you don't even understand. And because you don't understand it, it's bad. So now you have to shut it down. When in reality, it's just a dance. The music wasn't even on. The music wasn't on for whatever the song was that the dance would go to. But because it didn't look like shouting, it's bad. And I understand, like, there's a time and a place for everything. Like I said, I don't know if this was during service or after service, right? They're in the bathroom doing this little dance. Who is it harming, and how is that disrespectful to the house of God? During service, go, because do this, do that after service. Go to the sanctuary or wherever the kids be at, whichever section you're supposed to be in, go over there. That I agree with. But if this is after service, there's nothing going on, who is this harming? Who is it harming? Respect the house. So respecting the house is more important. Respecting the house is more important than loving on the children, guiding the children to what is right. So you want me to respect this building, right? But your character isn't lining up to who Christ is. But respect the house. That is what I don't, it just, my own issues with the black church be coming up for me, for real. Because it's a whole lot of judgment, a whole lot of shame, but there's rarely any guidance, or the guidance and the love is wrapped up in judgment and shame, and you trying to throw scriptures on top of something to justify you. But that's not love, and that's not Christ. But you want the kids to be in the church, or people in general to be there, but you're not welcoming them. You're not showing who Christ is. Okay. Okay. Like I said, I get if it was during service, I can understand why. Stop that. Go listen to what the pastor is saying. Or stop that. Go to children's church. Wherever, you know, your designated area is. I get that if it's during service. After service, who is this harming and hurting? And then you quick to correct, but not quick to love them into guidance. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't. And this is what, and we need church mothers back who judge and shame you. No, I don't want it. I don't want it, and I don't want to be a part of it at all. And a lot of why my vulnerability is not shown is because of that very thing. The reason I can skate over details is because of that very thing. Because of the judgment, because of the shame, the condemnation. I, with that though, all of that doesn't belong to me. That judgment, the shame, the embarrassment is not mine. And I am doing my best with this new revelation to let that go. It's a bit harder, easier said than done. But to recognize it, acknowledge it, let that go, because it's not mine. It's not my voice. It's not my perspective. I don't hold those same ideals. So I can let that go. I don't have to hold that. Especially in the way of building up my own sense of self. I don't believe in it, so I don't have to hold that, and I don't have to reflect it back to myself or even to other people. But more importantly, to myself, I don't have to hold those things for me because I don't believe them to be true. That is something that I am learning in this season. Being more true to self. And being true to self is recognizing what voice is talking. And then also, is it the little Shayla that's showing up? Or is it the adult Shayla that's showing up? Because the little Shayla will do anything and everything to protect herself. Will do anything and everything to keep from being, hurt, which is still needed, but not in the ways that I have learned to do or taught myself to do. Like when I am speaking with safe individuals, I can give details. But then also, me being vulnerable isn't for you. It's for me. My vulnerability is my strength. And me being vulnerable isn't dictated around the people, isn't dictated around people. It's on me. Vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's a strength. There is strength in holding yourself with that level of compassion, kindness, and care and love. And allowing yourself to experience the emotions that come in any situation. Being able to sit with it and then allow space for it. That is strength. That's strength. And I can honor myself for doing that. And it's a privilege. It's a privilege to experience my vulnerability. for anyone to experience my vulnerability. And it speaks volumes on you, on how you handle it. If you can sit with me, or if you take that moment to judge me. That speaks to your character and who you are, not me. So in this season, that is what I am learning, and that is what I'm doing my absolute very best to lean into. Because the little Shayla and the adult Shayla needs it. Connecting with self is needed, and it's important, and it's vital to being solid within yourself. Being solid is important in all relationships, so you aren't dependent on the other person, right? Amen. So yeah, that was my experience. That was this morning with that video and the talk of the church, and why I just don't. When I'm in session, I have a client who is experiencing, or who is under a very patriarchal leadership, and very pious, I think is the word. And I'm thankful for the growth that has happened within me. Because when she first became my client and she would tell me things, I would be like, yuck, get out of there. Get out of there, run. Like immediately, you know? I was very unsettled by it all. But now I'm able to settle myself enough to deal with her, and sit with her in it and help her see what she needs to see, move how she needs to move, without me trying to pull her out or save her from or bash her church, because that's that too. Yeah, I still need work on it because it's still very irritating and frustrating how some churches behave. Not all churches, some churches behave, especially in the Black community, or in communities where it's religion and not relationship. I'll say that, because that can be in any community. But when it's religion over relationship, that's the problem. Big problem. Yeah. And then also, that was an update on where I am, kind of where I am on my healing journey and all that is happening within me, doing my best to heal on the inside. Because inside healing will reflect on the outside, which chat helped me out to see. Big ups to chat. Learning that my body literally hasn't been in survival mode pretty much all of last year.
I got the money for the gum machine.
For the gum machine? What gum machine?
The gum in the grocery store.
Oh, the gum machine at the grocery store. Okay. The gum machine only takes these. It takes the silver ones, not the copper brown ones. So you gotta find the quarters.
This is a quarter?
That is a nickel.
Oh.
A nickel. The quarter is bigger.
Just like that one?
It's bigger than this one. It goes out here a little bit more. It's bigger than a nickel.
Okay, let's use this one.
Huh?
Let's use this one.
Use this one? Okay.
And these two.
Well, you can have those, sure. You can have them. But they don't go in the gumball machine because they're too small. You gotta find a quarter to go in the gumball machine.
What's, it's going to the nether machine.
It go to a different machine. Okay, that's fine. Um, I don't remember where I was. My apologies. Um, but I'm doing my best to. Oh, yeah. So thanks to chat. I realized that pretty much all of last year, my body was in survival mode, just trying to survive, right? Trying to keep me safe and survive. And then there was a high level of stress. High, high level of stress last year and trauma. And in that, my body was holding on to everything it could. Okay. And then on top of the depression and not wanting to eat, along with the eating struggles that I have, my body was like, listen, we just gonna take on or hold on to whatever you give me. You know, it was in survival, keeping me alive. And I'm thankful for that. And with that realization, I look at my body very differently. Because all of that is true. Last year was hell. Last year was hell. Okay. And my body carried me through, and I'm thankful for that. So I treat my body, or at least in my mind, I treat my body a little differently. Just knowing that it did, in fact, carry me through a lot of hell last year, and so now I am trying to reframing my mind to look at what I am doing as allowing my body to stabilize, allowing my body to finally relax, you know, even though there's still stressors, but allowing my body to again stabilize, because like chat mentioned or told me, because of my eating habit changes that I'm trying to what is the word? I'm trying to be better at eating and being more consistent in my eating, right? And being more consistent in exercising, right? Last week, I did a little bit of walking. I couldn't really lift because I couldn't breathe, right? So this week, I will hopefully get back to strength training and walking. But like Chad said, because I was doing this 90 days, I want to lose weight in 90 days, and Chad was like, it's not going to look like other people's 90 days where you drop a lot of weight because your body has been in survival all year. Now your 90 days is going to look more like stabilization. And stabilization is not stagnation. You're stabilizing your body, allowing it to feel safe in the consistencies, and eating more consistently and exercising more consistently, showing up for yourself, and being consistent is letting your body know oh, okay, we are okay. Here's a routine, or here's some consistency that is not causing us to not plummet, but causing us to be in such a heightened state, right? So the reframe is my body has carried me through a lot, and I'm thankful for that. And stabilization is not stagnation. And these 90 days are not going to look like me dropping weight like crazy, which I really wanted, but that's okay. But it will be my body stabilizing, me being more consistent in my eating and consistent in working out, so my body can get used to healthier things. And I'm like, okay, great, yay. But I ain't gonna hold you. Stepping on the scale is crazy. Stepping on the scale is crazy. And I'm just praying my scale is broken, because these numbers cannot be accurate. Like, this is wild to me. And then plus fibroids. My fibroids have returned, which has wreaked havoc. So that causes anemia, fatigue, which can deplete you in many ways. It affects your body in many ways because like your cycle is now different. It has changed. Your blood levels are different. You're more tired, which affects eating. It just affects and run into so many different things, which aids into the complications of losing weight. It's just so many things. And why chat was like, yo, 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 relax. You got a lot going on. You have a lot going on. I see you, Bubba. So I'm thankful for chat in that way to give me those facts, so I could breathe better and look at things differently, reframe my brain to see things differently, and go about things in a different manner. So that's a little update on me, update on what's going on in my life and how I'm doing my best to be a better me internally so it can reflect externally. Amen. Amen. But that's it. That's all I have. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you did get this far, I really do appreciate you. I would ask that you like, comment, and share if you will. Subscribe if you haven't. But I really appreciate you guys for sticking with me, those that have, and those that tune in. I really do appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always message me on Facebook and Instagram at My Heart Speaks LLC. My Heart Speaks LLC. Just making sure that that's what it is. Amen. That's it. That's all, y'all. Bye.